everybody, my name is Danielle and this is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So welcome back. Today I'm going to chat about an UPtv movie I watched over the weekend. So if you're interested, keep listening. So I watched a few movies over the weekend, and the original film Harmony in Paradise on UPtv was one of them. It's part of UPtv's Destination Romance. And it stars Liliana Tandon, who plays Amelia, and Tony Mena, who plays Fernando. The movie was okay for an original made-for-TV rom-com. I probably wouldn't rank it as high, when comparing with other rom-com movies on UPtv or Hallmark for that matter. But it wasn't bad. The synopsis is as follows. Amelia, a respected wildlife journalist, is tasked with covering baby manatees in Puerto Rico that are about to be released into the wild. She meets a handsome conservationist who helps her discover all the treasures the island has to offer. When they open up the movie, we open up to seeing, we meet Amelia waking up very, very chipper and happy. She's dancing, she has the music, she's feeding the dog she's watching, Archie, and she's just so happy. They kick off with a virtual meeting. Amelia is meeting with her boss and another colleague, and we're watching that colleague, Brad, eat that bagel. And the boss isn't too happy about it because she's on a juice cleanse, which I thought that cracked me up. That did make me chuckle. And the boss is Vivica Fox, so I was surprised to see that. I don't remember seeing her in the trailer or the preview, but maybe, yeah, it was a surprise to see her. So that's all I wanted to say there. We get to see aerial shots of Puerto Rico. And the part of Puerto Rico is Vieques. Yeah, I had to practice pronouncing that. All right, there's a lot that happens, and I guess I'm kind of bouncing all over the place already. So we meet Amelia, we see how chipper she is. She's attending a team meeting with her boss and a colleague. And then we're in Puerto Rico, and there's a lot that happens between that meeting in Puerto Rico. Overall, Amelia's getting an assignment, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Once Amelia is in Puerto Rico, she winds up practicing using her phone on the beach to take pictures, and one of the guys she captures is cleaning the beach. And she was moved by his good looks. So she was practicing taking pictures. And just to offer a little bit of background there, the reason she's practicing taking pictures is because Brad got sick right before they were supposed to travel, right? And Brad is the photographer. So he was going to accompany her on the trip and be the photographer and take pictures. And she's the journalist writing the article. Okay. So he's sick. She's trying to figure out how to take good pictures, right? While in Puerto Rico, she's on the beach, she's taking pictures, she's captured a few pictures, and when she's back at the hotel or back at the villa, looking through her pictures, there's a guy that captures her attention, Fernando, and she was so distracted, she knocked over a plant, broke the pot, and she spilled her coffee. Okay. We then meet Fernando, who's the head of the Manatee Conservation Center. And I tell you that he was very much, he distracted me in the movie, I should say, because he, to me, could be Michael Ealy's sibling. And if you aren't aware of who Michael Ealy is, he is, or I should say, look him up. He's a very, very handsome guy. He's also an actor. But yeah, every time I saw Fernando, I kept saying, is that Michael Ealy? I mean, even with the previews, I think that's partially why I decided to watch the movie, to be honest, because of looking at Fernando, the lead, Tony Mena. He really resembles Michael Ealy. Anyway, I got Michael Ealy vibes throughout the movie. So I think what I want to do now is just back up a little bit and just give you the premise of the movie. I read the synopsis, but let me try to fill in a few gaps, because I've gone from the meeting to now they're in Puerto Rico and now she's taking pictures. So let me just back up. So Amelia, she's a journalist, and she's looking to get her own column. She gets an assignment, and if she does well on this assignment, she'll get her own column. We then see Amelia go through or work through her doubts, because she's always done all of her research online versus traveling to that destination that she's writing about. So the trip to Puerto Rico was her assignment, and it's a journey for her, right? And we see that, and we see how along the way she meets Fernando, and then we have a destination romance. Okay, so hopefully that fills in some of those gaps I left that I had in the beginning when I first started this review. All right, a few things in the movie I want to talk about. The dramatic buildup, the climax in the movie, it wasn't so big of a deal to me. But the way it was portrayed in the movie was like it was earth-shattering, and that confused me. I didn't really get the controversy. I understood that it was urgent and it may have shifted timelines, but it was drummed up to be more than I thought it should be. I just wish they would have found a different climax to the movie. The one in the movie didn't work for me. The reaction to Brad not going to Puerto Rico because he was sick, and Amelia then having to take the pictures. The boss, Vivica Fox's character, Madeline, when she noticed or found out about it, because Amelia didn't tell her, but she found out about it somehow. I thought her reaction to finding out about it, Madeline, the boss, I thought her reaction was just overdone. I like Vivica Fox. I did have thoughts when I saw her in the movie. I was waiting for her to say, "You picked the wrong." It's kind of hard for me to disassociate her from all the wrong movie series on Lifetime we see, right? She's an executive producer for that wrong movie series on Lifetime, and she acts in it as well. So I was waiting for her to bust out a line and say, "You picked the wrong." I'm not a comedian. Anyway, I'm just kidding about that. But I did think her reaction to finding out that Amelia took the pictures, it just was too much, over the top for me. One of the best lines in the movie was when Fernando and Amelia were on the beach and they were listening to the surroundings. And I can't remember who said this line, but I'm just going to read it. All right. So the line was, and they're listening to like the waves, the ocean, the birds. They're listening. They're just taking in all of their surroundings, right? They've calmed their mind. It's almost like a meditation, and they're just listening. And I want to say Fernando, but I can't remember who said it, Fernando or Amelia. They said, "It sounds like music, symphony, all of nature's instruments working together in perfect harmony." Yeah, so I thought that was very profound. I like that. In the movie, I think we get a message about being fearless, right? Amelia hadn't gotten on a plane before going to Puerto Rico. Remember, all of her stories and all the research she'd done was online only. She's never traveled to destinations, so that was the first time of her for her to get on a plane. So she faced her fears, right? We also get a message of opening ourselves up for connection, right? And we see that threaded through the movie in terms of Amelia and Fernando. Fernando specifically. All right. The performances I thought were okay. The chemistry was a little off to me. I don't know if they worked necessarily, but, I went with it. Madeline, Vivica Fox played Madeline, the boss. Her being upset about the pictures, like I said earlier, it was just over the top to me. Fernando not being honest with Amelia, and if you saw the movie, you know what he was dishonest about, but it wasn't like it was intentional. I don't know. I get the disappointment, but it was something he couldn't control, right? The manatees weren't ready, and I just didn't understand the the controversy, right? The manatees weren't ready, so it would have to be delayed. And he didn't tell her right. I don't know. The climax, they could have picked something else or wrote something else. The new idea that was sparked after Valeria and Amelia were talking at the villa, Amelia was able to pivot and she came up with a new story. I like that. I did like the new story, surrounding that impending love story between Timothy and Valeria. So I enjoyed that part as well. I did like the underwater shots in the ocean of the manatees, the fish, the coral. That was pretty cool to me. Yeah. We got a little bit of culture with the salsa dancing and the music. That was fun. There were a few moments where I'm like, I don't know. Or I should say, I don't know. The drama in the movie, again, it confused me. The climax confused me. I don't know why it was so bad. It was just a delay. And I just wish they would have written something else to be the controversy in the movie, right? And also a moment where I'm like, no, I don't believe this. Fernando fixing the pot, the flower pot that fell and shattered into multiple pieces, multiple tiny pieces. I just don't believe he'd sit there and glue it all back together. I just don't. Perhaps they could have broken the pot to break into bigger pieces if that was possible. But the way that pot broke and him to supposedly have glued it back together, I don't know. It just didn't work. And I wish they would have done that differently. We did get a little bit of romance, like a little spark, right? When they were on the island before the storm, they were about to kiss, and then thunder, boom, it stopped them in their tracks. And the dancing in celebration of Amelia's success, right? That was fun too. And they had a good kiss. So I have to give that to them. They did have a good kiss. All right. Overall, the movie wasn't bad. We got to see manatees, the scenery of the beautiful island of Vieques. I'm making it too hard. Vieques. Okay. Beautiful island. Fernando, he was a cutie. He kept my interest. The performances were not bad at all. Now, is all of this enough for you to go watch it if you hadn't watched it already? Sure. I'd watch it, right? I don't think I'd watch it again, but if I heard me talking about it, I would watch it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie. So those of you that have watched it, what did you think? You have to let me know what you thought about the movie in a comment. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's gonna re-air, I think, next weekend. And give it a shot. If anything, you get to see that cute little Tony Mena, Fernando. And the manatees, they were cute too. All right, so that's all I have. So be sure to come back and give me a listen. I'd love for you to like, share, rate, follow, and subscribe. And consider leaving me a message. I always appreciate that. All right. My name is Danielle, and you're listening to my podcast, Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.